a lot of people. It's different. It's just a different vibe at home, and we got to figure out a way to make it small like how it is on the road. I just feel like at home we see a lot of people that we don't know, or just don't know that are around this area. And when we're on the road, it's just a close-knit group, and we're becoming a really close team. We got to find a way to bring that back home.
This time to the Baltimore Orioles. They scored a whopping 2 runs, lost the game 4-2 to Baltimore. But the story is really not the game. I said this to you earlier in the year. I'm going to continue to say it. Unless or until the Red Sox play their way back into legitimate contention, and do so by playing well, not by everyone else sucking. There's really only one story with this team, and that is the state of the organization and the problems inside of it. Matt McCarthy is here on the program tonight. I'll just say this quickly, Matt, because I believe it strongly. And I believed it for some time. And the fact that the Red Sox are having the kind of the year that they are having right now, I thought they might have been on the way up again going into last offseason. I really believe that. I thought, okay, go get yourself a number 2 starter. Now you got your pieces in place. The young guys have developed. You're ready to take off. So here you are. Go out and make the moves and let the new era, the next new era in Red Sox history begin. It's gone the other way. It has fallen apart, frankly. They've already fired the manager. The GM, for lack of a better term, is next or could be next. And now you have players like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, whom I will heretofore refer to as Falefa the rest of the way, because I'm not saying that all year long. Again, something I said earlier in the year.
Pick a name.
The problems in this organization are deep-rooted. I've been trying to tell many of you this for a long time. They are deep-rooted problems. They lack legitimate decision makers. They lack baseball people. They lack experience. They lack a lot of things. It's not entirely about the analytics. So I'm not going to turn it into solely analytics suck, because that age is here. It's not going away. The question is, do the Red Sox have any capacity to mitigate it? And can they make a decision that actually works? So now you have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa standing after the game last night, basically saying, we got to figure out a way to make it work, which felt to me like an indictment on the young players at home, that maybe there's a posse around some of these young guys at the ballpark. Maybe they're living hard at night. Maybe they're not putting enough work into the product on the field. They go on the road. It's all baseball because there were no distractions. Sometimes it is easier for a team to play on the road. Or maybe the Red Sox just don't have a roster to win in Fenway Park anymore. I don't know what it is. But what I can tell you is, whatever problem you think they have, they probably do.
And it's even deeper than you think it is. I think you couldn't be more right about that, Mazz. It's everything. It's, players going out chasing tail at home and on the road. It's too many nerds in the building inundating players with all of this. As you said, if you think the Red Sox have a problem, they do. And it's probably a deeper, more deep-seated problem than it actually is. I don't know how you fix it without totally, completely cleaning house, which I don't know if they're really capable of. And I'm talking about the front office. I'm talking about the roster. I'm talking about everything. They've already started with the coaching staff. Nothing's changed. They're the exact same team with Alex Cora, without Alex Cora. So how do you fix all this? The answer is you don't in one move. They are not one move away in any way, shape, or form.
So, Matt, I just think that the problems are so deep-rooted. I'm not sure. I've said this multiple times today. I'm not sure those of you out there who watch this team and listen to this show understand the predicament the Red Sox are in. So I'm going to ask it to you simply. Do you understand how bad it is? It has gotten to the point where the Red Sox have to decide between keeping Craig Breslow, whom I don't believe in, and I don't think is equipped to be a chief baseball officer, at least at this stage of his career. He doesn't have the people skills. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the understanding of the offensive side of the game.
No, he does not.
He just doesn't have it. So the decision is, Do you keep Breslow or do you fire him and start all over again? So it's not just as simple as saying, fire Breslow, bring in Dombrowski. You think they're going to bring in Dave Dombrowski?
No way. Dave Dombrowski or somebody like Dave Dombrowski would want nothing to do with this mess.
So you understand, and I know you do, Matt, but you understand that if they start over, it means the next clone of Bloom and Breslow. And I said this last night. I think Chaim Bloom is a better GM now with St. Louis than he was here. He had the experience of failing. He has to be better at it just by definition.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He gave you Contreras and Gray for not that much, so I think he's still Chaim Bloom.
And he still has a better record than you do.
Yeah, but there were times where the Red Sox overachieved under Bloom. So either way, we don't need to get an argument about Chaim Bloom, who sucks at his job, and Breslow, who sucks at his job, because what you're getting to here, Mazz, is the most important thing. If you fire Breslow, it's not like you're getting somebody highly qualified in replacing him. So your choice is stay with the guy who you know sucks, or bring in a guy who almost certainly sucks too, but you don't know specifically if he sucks or is ready for the job or qualified for the job. That's probably the more fair way to put it, because what qualified candidate would want to come work here in this organization? Their problem is culture. Their problem is people. It's not, analytics are a problem, money is a problem, roster is a problem, but it starts at the top. Until they fix culture, people, and leadership, none of that stuff matters. You know, they can spend $260 million on the team. It's not going to matter if you don't have the right leader in place to find the way to spend that $260 million. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yes, of course. So I don't want to start over again. And I just think this is dire. It's a dire situation. They're in a bad spot. They have to rely on a guy who's not ready for the job or find the next guy who's not ready for the job. That's where they are. So I think it's a horrible spot to be in, and I think it's this bad. I think the Red Sox have done damage to their brand. The last 7 or 8 years, and I know what the franchise value is and what it's worth, and I know how many seats, how many people are in the ballpark every night. The team sucks. They've kind of become like what the Chicago Cubs used to be. You know, the Cubs were popular,
yep,
but in a bad way. You know, they were kind of lovable losers. The Red Sox are losers, but they're not really lovable. But they'll sell out the ballpark every night because the place is a museum and people will come in from out of market. And, do you hear the cheers some of these games when the opposing team scores?
I've been there, Mazz. I mean, it's astonishing.
So,
I was there for the Phillies series. It was a Phillies crowd.
So we played Falefa last night. Okay, we played you that sound. Here was what Falefa said today. Sorry, Jimmy.
Do you mean try the size of the traveling party team employees, or is it away from the ballpark stuff, or
just a little bit of everything? You know, at home it's just big market. This is what you dream of. There's a lot going on. On the road, it's we just got our small group. So it's part of playing in a big market. It's what I signed up for. It's what a lot of us dream of. So being able to put this jersey on, it means the world to us. And playing in Fenway is like the golden ticket to being part of this organization. So to come out here and not to play our best or not to win, it's frustrating. And as an organization, we're looking into everything, and we got to figure it out as a group.
Okay, this is spin. All of a sudden, now they're going back. If you ask me, the comment last night was, we don't have our heads screwed on right. And by the way, the fact that the Red Sox have to rely on a utility man to be the team spokesman should tell you plenty. It used to be Rob Refsnyder. That was before Bregman. Then Bregman came and it got better. Now, all the leaders are gone, and so it's kind of Falefa. He's sitting there making the comment. He's a freaking utility guy. He's a utility guy. That's the leader of your team, which speaks volumes. And I think he's covering for what he said last night. The comment last night reeked of, we're not professional, we're not ready to go. The ballpark is chaos. There were too many people down here giving us information. The guys are hanging out. Some of the young guys are hanging out too much with their friends and aren't focused enough on the job. Marcelo Meyer in spring training, they had to get on his ass about getting to work on time.
Yep.
Okay, that's what that was about. And then early in the year, Felger made this point earlier, it's a good one. Carlos Narvaez got disciplined by Cora, pulled out of the lineup. Because why? Because he didn't get to the ballpark in time for a meeting. Meaning they're not taking it seriously. So Cora said, normally I might let this go, but early in the year I'm trying to make a statement. Why did he feel the need to make a statement?
Because he knew the clubhouse was bad. And there have been rumblings about this clubhouse, going back to spring training, as we talked about today. There were rumblings about them early on this year. They lack leadership. And, Kiner Falefa is a guy, Mazz, who is, I don't know, this is his fifth, sixth stop in baseball.
Something like that.
He's played on winning teams and losing teams. He was in the World Series last year. As an aside, if Isaiah Kiner Falefa could run the bases, the Toronto Blue Jays are world champions. So he's not still that good a player. He's been pretty decent recently for the Sox, but take that for what it's worth. The fact that he's coming in here from outside the organization and looking at this saying, this is a clown show. This is a dumpster fire. The hell is this? Because here's a guy who's been around the game a little bit, close to a 10-year veteran, and he comes here and says, this is a mess. What do you want me to do about this? I mean, come on. We got young guys running around. We got too many guys coming down from the front office. He's looking around and saying, you got to be kidding me with this. So, I mean, that's just a sign of how bad things are when the likes of Isaiah Kiner Falefa are coming in and saying, I'm sorry, what are we doing here? What have I signed myself up for again?
So the other thing I wonder, Matt, is Fenway's been the same place all year. And I know they just got back for the start of a homestand. They're now 9-20 at home. Why was last night the night that got under Falefa's skin? Why wasn't it the last homestand?
I mean, they played pretty well in Cleveland over the weekend.
Okay, so maybe that's it. It could totally be that. Or I wonder, I don't know, did something happen before the game that irritated him? He saw one of the young guys doing something that he, rather than putting in work, the guy was screwing off and talking to friends and not, didn't show up for batting practice or whatever. I don't know. I'm just asking. Was there something that triggered it? Then they lose the game, and he's still thinking about it going, that a-hole wasn't even ready for the start of the game.
Right. Highly possible.
So I just wonder. I'm asking the question. Okay, I'm asking the question. All I'm telling you is the Red Sox are reffed up. They're reffed up badly. And they clearly made an attempt before the game tonight to change the message that Falefa put in place after last night's game, because he wasn't the only one that tried to spin what he said after the game. Chad Tracy did as well.
What was your take on that? Do you have any concern about maybe some of the distractions, for lack of a better word, you was referring to?
No, my take on it is Izzy and myself and everybody else, like you guys are, it's a thing, right? Like, it's going to get asked about a lot, and you ask it a lot and you see people pause, right? And it's like, we're all trying to figure that out, So I know it's a conversation, and I did see it. He's not wrong in what he's saying. There's a lot more going on here. Like, there's way more media here. There's people on the field. There's rehabs here. There's more staff here. Like, it's part of it, So I think he also doubled back, and I said it too. Like, what's the fix? Like, well, you win 4 out of 5, and people start talking about it less. So it comes with it. It's Boston. It's a big market. There's a lot more things going on here than there is on the road. That's probably the case in a lot of places, maybe even more so here. But yeah, we have to get it squared away. I think winning solves a lot of it.
So it's now Fenway? It's the market size?
Yeah, Tracy doesn't believe that. And by the way, he's tacitly telling you, when he's acknowledging that Izzy is, right. What he's saying is, yeah, this guy's calling out the team. He's calling out the organization for good reasons. I actually thought that was a bit of a savvy dodge from Tracy there.
So here's the thing I'll tell you. Boston's always been a tough place to play. There was a time when the Red Sox knew that, had people in place that, and because of the attention. Okay, it's not nearly as difficult as it used to be when they'd gone 86 years without a championship, and every team that came in here, or every team that showed up after spring training every year, had to answer the question of, why can't you win a championship? And it built, and it built, and it built for decades and a near century, until finally you had a team with some balls in 2004 and was able to withstand all that pressure and win, because they embraced the challenge. Now they wilt in front of it. They have a bunch of players who are unprepared, might be minor league talents. They have minor league coaches who replace the big league coaching staff, the third base coach of which is getting a guy thrown out at the plate roughly every 3 days. So once a series, someone's getting thrown out at the plate. They have a front office that has no experience and nobody with any baseball history that can challenge Craig Breslow, who is a lefty specialist and qualifies as the baseball person in the organization. Just ask him, because he said it to Tim Healy in his story the other day. We have, like me, is what he said when asked about the baseball people in the organization.
Yeah,
did you see that comment?
I did. You know why? Because he's purged the rest of them. He's fired the rest. They have no scouts anymore. You've heard all kinds of reporting in recent years, Mazz, about Breslow being very insular. Yeah, he has seized complete and total power within the front office and within baseball operations, so it ultimately is all on him, which is not a good thing.
They have some young players who clearly like the nightlife, and that's okay, but not at the expense of the product on the field. One of them, or multiple of them, many of them, have been given multi-year contracts, so they don't even have to play anymore if they don't want. The money's guaranteed. They're going to cash in. Christian Campbell's in good shape. And his OPS has dropped below 700 in the minor leagues, by the way.
Richest man in Worcester history.
Roman Anthony's hurt again. Marcelo Meyer clearly doesn't think he has to learn how to hit a breaking ball because he hasn't been able to do it in the minors or the majors, at least since the start of Double-A.
He should have taken the money, too.
So all these, I don't think he was offered it. Was he? I don't think he was.
You know, I don't know necessarily about that, Mazz. I mean, I think they approached most of their young players. I bet you they approached Meyer. That's not informed, but based on their business model, which is pay these young players because even if we miss on a guy like Campbell, you know, we'll still get greater returns. Surplus value, some would argue. Well, when you build around a whole bunch of young players, as Alex Cora told Ken Rosenthal, sometimes that might lead you to some bad places.
Minor league on the field, minor league off the field, minor league in the front office, minor league on the coaching staff. That's what you got. You got a minor league operation. I think they're a freaking laughingstock right now. I think they're the equivalent of the Jets, the Cleveland Browns. Take your pick. Pick any bad organization in sports, Sacramento Kings, anyone that you want to pick. I think the Red Sox have done that kind of damage to their brand. And I don't see a way out. You tell me whether you do. Again, do you understand? Do you understand how bad it is?
We're going to need to get a Craig Breslow translator in here for you to understand it.
Do you understand that? Do you understand the predicament they're in and how bad it is? They've committed contracts to these young players. They have a GM or a chief baseball officer who's never held the title before. They have a minor league coaching staff. And if they do fire their GM, if they fire Breslow, tell me who in their right mind with experience would take this job? Who would take it? 617-779-0985. I see a number of you lined up. We'll get to your calls. Also, by the way, we'll play for you coming back. What could have been in Boston this year? That's next.
ball's gone. Very quickly out of here by Pete Alonso for number 12. A 2-run homer. And their second shot off Connolly early tonight. Number 12 for Alonso. 110.8 miles an hour off the bat.
They're tying him up with heaters up in the air. We're talking about not wanting a big fella to extend those arms. You give him that changeup. Rutschman hit a changeup earlier, back up the middle really hard. Seems like a pitch two big fellas might be just trying to sit on.
Remember him, Pete Alonso?
What did they offer him, Jimmy? What was your reporting on that?
I believe it was like 4 at 85.
Yeah, something like that.
What did he end up getting? 5 and 150, Jimmy?
That's correct.
Is that what it was? 5
Yeah,
and
and there was
150?
an option for a fifth year to make it like 120 or something.
So let me explain to you what so think of the contrast. Caleb Durbin was brought in because he's a fly ball pull hitter and can hit home runs at Fenway Park, allegedly. Okay? He was a spray guy in Milwaukee, but showed some ability to hit fly balls to left field. So the Red Sox went and got him. Pete Alonso is a legit right-handed power hitter who can hit it out of the freaking Grand Canyon. So you pitch him away. Do you remember when Devin Williams in Milwaukee threw, I can't remember, it was a fastball to Pete Alonso in the series?
Yep.
Williams was pitching for the Brewers at the time. I think.
Yeah, Alonso went to right field.
Sorry, what did you say? He went where?
Right field.
Opposite field power.
Sure, yeah.
Opposite field power. That is a power hitter. That's the kind of guy you need. You don't need a guy who can hit home runs to left field at Fenway Park. You need a guy who can hit a home run to all fields at Fenway Park. That is the kind of guy you need in your lineup.
I mean, there are a million guys out there who can just punch one up over the wall. I mean, any slapdick hitter, Mazz, can ultimately, hit a home run at Fenway Park if you're a righty. Can you go the other way like Manny Ramirez and put it into the right center field bullpen? Can you do that?
So
those are real guys.
And I would tell you that typically the dominant power hitters that the Red Sox have had over the course of their career, and I'll include Nomar Garciaparra in this for the period of time that he was that, because he could hit for power and average. Garciaparra's power was to right center. Manny Ramirez's power was to right center. Who am I leaving out? Jim Rice's power was to right center field. Anybody can hit him out to left if you pitch him right. And you know why that's important at Fenway? Because if you have a right-handed hitter who has power, you know what the last thing a team is going to do is?
Pitch him inside.
Bingo. They're going to pitch him away. Unless you're Wilson Contreras and you stand so far on the inside line of the batter's box, so far on the plate that A, you get hit a crap ton, and B, you can pull anything. Unless you chase off the plate, and then you'll strike yourself out. But I babbled enough. We'll take your calls on the state of the Red Sox. Adam is in, we'll go in order of longest wait. Adam is in Connecticut on Driveline. Go ahead, Adam.
So I feel like I have to ask a stupid question here, and I've been watching baseball for a little while now. Hitters want to hit. So if somebody's telling them, hey, you got to hit balls into the air per Driveline, why is somebody like, I don't know, pick your effing player, just go up there and hit the ball? Like, so...
Yeah, Adam.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, so I understand because everything's analytics now, and here's why it's happening. And look, by the way, the idea of getting the ball in the air is not new. Okay, that's as old as the game itself. It's more effective to hit the ball in the air if you're a hitter. The ground usually A, doesn't do much damage, and B, usually results in outs. Okay, so the better thing to do has always been to hit the ball in the air. That's not new. But what they're doing now is telling you at the expense of everything, look for a pitch you can drive. So they're not teaching hitting anymore. What they're teaching is slugging, which is all well and good, except that the pitcher knows it and is going to pitch you accordingly.
I mean, hitting is a defensive act in many ways.
It's reactive.
Yep.
Pitching is proactive. Hitting is reactive. And yet there are people who still think, now you want to take a guy who is a marginal player and say, we can make you more effective, you can add some power to your game, fine. Whatever. Do you have to do it at the expense of the guy who can hit the ball all over the ballpark and get me doubles down the right field line?
Well, I mean,
what is wrong with that?
They think they can create that guy, which you can't. I mean, in the end, You know, if you're a power hitter or you're not, like you can just see a guy who gets into the box, Mazz, and you say, that guy's a power hitter.
Of course.
I mean,
of course.
You've done it forever. That's
and what's wrong with a double? What's wrong with that? Nothing. Sebastian and Sandwich. Sebastian, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just calling because, I've been hearing these rumblings about they're trying to get a big right-handed bat or something like that. And if they're going to go after somebody like a Mike Trout or something, I don't want it. I mean, the last thing we need is an old guy who's probably got 2 or 3 years left and, not going to really help anything when we really got to build this system. There's no way I'm willing to give up some quality pieces for...
Sebastian, they've already built the system, okay? And
Look at what it's gotten you.
And it's failed, okay? It's failed. So, at least up to now, I'm not telling you it's failed permanently. I still think that Roman Anthony has ability. Marcelo Meyer, I doubt. Christian Campbell's cashed. So they're kind of screwed, if you want to know the truth. You want a legit right-handed bat? They exist in the game, but you got to pay for them. Dean's in Shrewsbury. Dean, go ahead.
Breslow bought here. I think the Red Sox have been mediocre recently. I think you're overplaying how bad they've been. They were 10-17 under Cora, but they've been at least 15-17 under Tracy.
So Dean, Dean, let me stop you.
yeah?
Let me stop you for a second because you call the show a lot. So first of all, you talk about 15-17 like that's good, and that is some sort. They've been better, but they're still not good. And secondly, I'm not interested in them being a 500 team. I'm interested in them being a championship team after they've been selling me a rebuild for 7 or 8 years, and they failed to deliver, and now the organization, it feels like, is getting worse. So why should I care that they're sub 500 under Alex Cora? I mean, without Alex Cora.
Because they're showing signs like their defense is first in the MLB, their pitching's fourth in the AL, and they're showing signs of batting now that they got rid of Pete Patsy. They got to figure out this Fenway thing, but their strength on the road shows that they're a pretty good team. So as long as they figure out, as long as they signed hitters that can hit in Fenway, and they didn't do anything like completely out of the ordinary when it comes to spray charts in Fenway, I think they'll turn it around, and
Okay.
I think you've got to give Driveline at least to the end of the year to see how good they are.
No, I don't.
No, they suck. They're 9-20 at home. Like, figure out this Fenway thing. You are historically bad at home. Worse since 1932. You want to know what the 1932 Red Sox did, Mazz?
Dean, let me just tell you, the ballpark's been in existence for 125 years. They haven't figured it out yet.
43-111 in 1932. It's the worst team in franchise history. They are historically bad at Fenway Park.
It's not the ballpark. It's not the ballpark. It's the decision making. It's not the ballpark. Can we stop with this? It's not the freaking ballpark. It's the personnel and the decision making. That's the issue. They're a minor league operation now. They have a minor league chief baseball officer with no experience and a staff that he does not want to challenge him. That's why he's built it the way he has and kept it close circle, because he doesn't want anyone to challenge his decision making. So he built it that way. Then he blew out the manager and the staff on the offensive side because he's the one responsible for the pitching. So he blew out the offensive side and blew out the manager and then replaced them with all minor leaguers who've never been in the big leagues, so they can't challenge him either. He just wants everyone to do what he says, even though he has no track record and no experience. So that's supposed to be okay, and it would all be okay if he were winning. But he's not. He blew the Bregman deal. He needed help getting Crochet, and he needed help getting Bregman the first time. He does everything by the numbers. Did you know that the Red Sox don't scout minor leaguers in AA or AAA? They don't do it anymore.
It's terrifying.
They just go by the numbers. They stopped scouting the minor leagues. The Dodgers still scout AA and AAA. So do the Yankees. Even Tampa Bay does more than the Red Sox do. Do you understand? Again, do you understand the depth of the problems? That's what I'm asking you tonight. Do you really understand the depth of the problems? Because I don't think you do.
No, and my answer still is no. I mean, I think I do. I didn't notice. I didn't know that. I don't know where I missed those details. They're seriously not scouting AA and AAA?
They are not.
Jesus.
They're not scouting.
That's a joke.
So
are you serious?
So I wonder, is this part of the reason when they bring a guy into the organization, he can't play? So Franchi Cordero, David Hamilton, or they think he can't play because they can't evaluate. So they don't see the ones that are coming in. And then the ones that do, they can't evaluate. So James Tibbs was here for 10 minutes. They traded his ass. And who am I leaving out? Oh, Kyle Harrison. They decided to flip him for Caleb Durbin. I wonder how much time they spent scouting Caleb Durbin.
Probably very little. Hell, I don't think they scout their own players. Christian Campbell, the contract they gave him?
Kyle Harrison is a candidate for the Cy Young Award in the National League. They're going to look like freaking donkeys if he wins the award.
Don't worry. They always look like donkeys, Mazz.
McCarthy, you doing headlines?
Yes, I am.
Okay, McCarthy's got headlines. Don't go anywhere.
and scouting departments in general, and the lifeblood per se that they are when it comes to building a franchise. Do you want to just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's probably an important time in the game to touch on that, because right now we're a little bit out of balance. There's an equilibrium in the game where, data is important, analytics are important, technology is important, and you can use those tools to help you make good predictions about how players are going to perform in the future. But if it's done at the exclusion of the human element and, the humanism, essentially, human beings getting to know other people, understanding what makes them tick, developing a connection with them, understanding them better that way, and putting them in a position to succeed, then it's not worth it. And you can fall out of balance. And so, in some circles, scouting and invest and seeing beyond the stat sheet, seeing beyond the predictive model, and understanding what really makes a person tick as a human, as a teammate, and as a player, is becoming a bit of a lost art.
Theo Epstein. Jimmy, you said that was on the podcast with Carl Ravitch?
It was, yes.
So who was the guy talking at the beginning, just out of curiosity? Was that
I'm not sure. It's one of Carl's co-hosts.
Got it. So Theo did this a couple of weeks ago, and I just think this is who the Red Sox are now. Tell me, who can relate to people in the organization? Who can relate to the players from the management side? You think Craig Breslow walks into the clubhouse and can connect with the people in uniform?
No, they don't have that guy. Well, I mean,
I don't.
They do have that guy. His name is Theo Epstein, but he doesn't want to get involved. So
can you blame him?
No, not necessarily, but I kind of don't want to hear from him either. Like, I don't want to hear reporting this week that Theo Epstein has grown disillusioned with, Craig Breslow's analytical approach. A, you recommended the guy, so thanks for nothing, pal. B, if you really are that disillusioned, you are a member of ownership. If Theo walked right now into John Henry's office and said, John, I don't like the direction of this, let me run this, what do you think John Henry says? Have at it, man. So I don't want to hear from Theo Epstein anymore. Unless you want to fix this, I don't want to hear from you. Like, why are you here? Why are we even doing this?
I'm surprised he did the podcast. I thought he was keeping. I'm still trying to figure out why he did it. It's just I'm curious. It doesn't, it didn't help him in any way. I mean, maybe he did it as a favor to Ravitch. It made no sense to me. Or if you listen to the things that he's talking about, he's describing the Red Sox. They've lost the human side. What are the other things he said in that? The communication skills are important in terms of building a successful organization.
Talked about scouting. As you just mentioned, they're not scouting the minor leagues. They've pretty much wiped out their entire scouting department.
And the other thing that he mentioned, Matt, was, oh, God, it'll come to me. Give me a second. I'll figure it out. Frank is in Boston. Frank, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding Falefa's comments, I think the biggest issue is being overlooked. And no doubt there's a clear maturity and lack of leadership issue on the team. But normally, especially when it comes to excessive social behavior, these things rear their ugly heads on the road more than they do at home. Baseball and professional sports are notorious for that. So I think the biggest problem by far at home is the smartest man in baseball built an offensive roster that is actually less equipped to play at Fenway Park than it is on the road. It's the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do.
So
they've scored 2 runs or less in half of the games this year they've played at home. This is something that Falafel either does not understand and is attributing to something else as causal, or he simply cannot come out and say the roster sucks and is ill-equipped to hit at Fenway Park, and the head of baseball ops did a terrible job building a roster of guys that are both not good and ill-equipped to produce at Fenway, including Falafel himself, who also stinks in this part of the...
Falefa. Falafel.
Doesn't matter.
Falefa. So I know what it was. He said, get people who are committed to the cause. And team players, basically, is what he's talking about. People who are willing to put in the work. And, so that's another thing. I think the Red Sox, I think Theo's telling you that they don't have those kinds of guys. I think he's telling you that they don't communicate well. And what was the one we just played, Jimmy? I got so much crap going through my head right now, I can't think straight. The one we just played was... Oh, Theo talking about the human element.
Yes.
Okay. And I think they suck at that. So this is why I said, do you understand the depth of the problems over there? It's not just as simple as let's go get a right-handed bat. They kind of suck at everything. So they're doing well with the pitching.
Mm.
Overall, they're doing well with the pitching.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the development of the pitching. Anybody can go out and sign a guy in free agency. All that takes is money. In fact, they should do more of it. They're capable of it, but they just don't want to do it anymore. Anthony in Waltham. Get Anthony.
Hi. Do you think that a big part of why Breslow got the job, though, is that Alex Cora, no young GM that's analytically driven, is going to want to work with him? I mean, he's quite the politician. I mean, my God.
I'm sure it's a factor. Yeah, definitely a factor.
So
but it's not the only factor.
I misunderstood the question. Why did say it again?
So he was saying, going around to last time after Bloom got fired and Cora went up the back steps to stab Bloom in the back, what GM candidate would want to come here and work with Alex Cora already in place?
I see. So
undeniably a factor.
So Cora's departure makes it more attractive.
I mean, slightly, but that ignores the rest of the crap. I mean, it's like having a real nice ballroom on the Titanic. It's like, hey, well, by the way, ballroom's in good shape. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
What guy would... Sean McCann made a good point last night. What guy in his 30s, which is what all these candidates are now, mid-30s, let's call it 40, with a young family, because that's the stage of life you're at when you're in your 30s, late 30s and early 40s, is going to want to move here knowing that he could get fired in 3 years by the owner who's got an itchy trigger finger. So again, we can talk about the Cora element, and it's a good point by the caller. I'm not minimizing it. Cora's gone, so that's good from the standpoint of getting an executive here. The owner is still blowing people out every 3 or 4 years.
I mean, he's done it to Hall of Fame executives. Dave Dombrowski's going to the Hall of Fame. He fired him less than a year after winning a World Series.
You realize that the term in the White House is longer than the average term of a Red Sox chief baseball executive.
Yes, since 2011. Yeah, I mean. Charrington lasted 3 years. Dombrowski was brought in August of 15.
It's pretty close to the same, actually.
He was blown out in September of 2019. Bloom made it 3.5 years. Breslow should probably not make it to this trading deadline. You can't let him run the trading deadline. That's insane to me.
Oh, he's going to. I mean, they're not firing him before then. Chris is in Texas. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Tony and Matt, how you guys doing?
Hey.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but I am very observant. At least I think I am. So, one thing I noticed in the press conference with Sam Kennedy is he distanced himself from the termination of Alex Cora. He made it very clear it was Breslow's decision, and they were supporting it, and yada yada yada. So, rumors had it that Sam Kennedy met with Cora after that, had lunch or whatever. So my question is, how out of the realm of possibility would it be whether they terminate Breslow mid-season or they wait till the end of the season? But maybe Sam Kennedy told maybe Sam Kennedy told Cora, if this doesn't go very well and what hits the fan, just sit tight. And we'll not bring him back as the manager.
No, Chris, I'm going to let you go because the call's going on too long. No, Cora's not coming back here.
No,
that's over. Okay, that's over. And by the way, and he doesn't know this, so I'll just share it with you now. Jimmy, you remember that whole story about how Cora had lunch with Sam the day after?
Yeah.
Never happened.
Oh.
Really?
Never happened. There was no lunch between Cora and Sam Kennedy afterward. It didn't happen. It's wrong.
Interesting.
It's wrong. I heard that one, too, through the grapevine.
That was an actual, reporter report, too. That's just not me.
No, that one's wrong. That one's wrong. At least that's what I believe. Mike's in New Hampshire. Mike, go ahead.
It's amazing.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think you guys are really missing the point with Henry. All he wants is a 500 team that people are going to watch, and the Red Sox probably would be 500 with Anthony and Crochet. I mean, they're the new Bruins. They want a 500 team, keep people watching, and that's all Henry cares about.
Yeah, he wants an 88-win team.
Sorry, go ahead.
He wants an 88-win team. He doesn't want a 500 team. He wants a team that's going to make the wild card every year, get some playoff gate, all of that. And these two previous general managers, I'm talking Breslow almost as if he's in the past tense, have failed in that mission.
So that's the part. I don't miss that point. I know exactly that's what Henry wants. He's part of the problem too, especially when he keeps blowing out GMs. So he can't understand why they can't win with 88 wins. And I'll tell you the same thing that Falefa was talking about and that Chad Tracy was talking about before the game. Because Boston is different. Because there's a lot of noise here. There are a lot of people here. And when you don't win, and when you, first of all, when you elevate players from the minor leagues who are young, there's more pressure to perform, particularly if they don't have any help or protection in the lineup. Then it becomes something altogether different. That way, when Roman Anthony starts chucking the ball around and can't make a throw to home plate, he doesn't have to stand in the middle of the clubhouse like he's being shamed as a 21-year-old and explain what's wrong. He can just hide and go through his development when you have a real team on the field. But the Red Sox don't want to do that anymore. They want to put a B type of team, B-level team on the field. That's what they want you to get. That's what they want to give you, rather.
And they've put a D-level team on the field really for the last 6 or 7 years.
So they keep hiring these executives with no experience because they don't want the pushback on the spending. They just want someone to do what they're told because they didn't like getting pushed back when Larry Lucchino was here. That's why they pushed him out.
Same with Dombrowski.
So then he went. But then the problem is they bring in these guys who can't do it, and now they brought in a guy who has no people skills and can't communicate to the people in uniform and created another divide. So do you see the problem here? Every time they make a change at the head of baseball operations, things get worse, not better. They were supposed to get better with Breslow. They got worse. They were supposed to get better with Bloom initially. They got worse. And I think they're now in a worse spot than they were when Bloom was here.
Agreed.
Because the minor league talent that they've been selling us for 6 years hasn't developed. Marcelo Meyer kind of sucks.
Not just kind of. He does. And has pretty much sucked since AA. Can't hit a curveball.
He can't hit. He doesn't really seem to care about the sport or his job. He doesn't seem broken up about it at all. Ever. I think he's just content to go out and have a good time, live the life of a 23-year-old, and play video games. And there's no one there in the clubhouse, a veteran player, because those cost money, good ones, to tell him to get his head out of his ass.
You want to get the most out of Roman Anthony? You got to get his buddy Marcelo Meyer the hell out of town.
So you might be right. I'm coming around on that too, Matt. We'll see how that all shakes out. I've rambled on and on here. So any final thoughts?
Absolutely none, Mazz. I'll see you.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Red Sox and Orioles obviously underway over at Fenway Park. I've not checked the score. They're scoreless in the first inning. McCarthy, have your headlines here momentarily. Joe Murray's got you for the rest of the night. We'll catch you tomorrow.